Okay, we have started the recording. Hi, Linus. Hi, Morten. How are you?
Hi, fine, thanks.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you. All good here.
How are you?
I'm really fine, and it's fun to finally have this talk. So we ended the fourth Teamsdagen a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure how many. It feels like it was yesterday, but at the same time, feels like it was a year
Ages
ago,
ago.
ages ago. And then we talked about let's share some of our best ideas, tips, and tricks, and the things we thought about when planning a conference together, right?
Right? Yeah.
Should we
So,
start with what Teamsdagen is and where we started? Morten, can you take that?
Yeah, absolutely. Teamsdagen started as an in-person conference in 2020, early 2020. And we had a full day of Teams sessions. And we had a venue in Stockholm City where we had 300 people. And you remember when we released the tickets for that?
Yeah.
It took like 30 minutes and then we sold out all tickets. So that was like, yeah, a rock concert. And please remember, this was pre-COVID. So we didn't know anything about any pandemic or anything like that. So yeah, we had 300 people in Stockholm in this venue, and we have 400 people signed up on the waiting list. And what a day it was!
Yeah. Until the pandemic hit us, or almost. So
Yeah,
this was the last conference ever, we thought, because then the pandemic came and it was a lockdown
yeah.
from the day
And it was
after Teamsdagen.
literally the last day before the lockdown.
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I think the restrictions came, maybe it was the same day or the day after, but we thought this is the last day we'll see people, but uh, I don't think that's the case. But we had to rethink. We had to do it virtually. We couldn't do it anymore in
But
place.
the Teamsdagen was a great success, and we wanted to do it again. But
Yeah,
digital was the way forward. So yeah, we came up with all this idea, and let's say, hey, in 6 months, let's do it digital, and we did.
Yeah.
So
The
Linus, could you
Teamsdagen,
talk us through
yeah,
that?
Teamsdagen Studio Online. So we thought that how should we do this? Let's do an online event. But we wanted to do something extra, so we started out with renting 3 different studios where we broadcast live from. So we had 3 studios simultaneously broadcasting Teamsdagen, and the first time we did this, it was a success from the start. I think we have over 2,000 participants or registered attendance. So and a lot of great speakers. 3 tracks about Teams. How could that go wrong? It's
Yeah, and as
so
you
that
mentioned,
was
Linus, didn't want to do this like other online events that during this time was quite common already. But we wanted to do something more of a get the feeling of being in a professional production thing, and that's what we did.
yeah. And one of the concepts that I really love it, and I think it's such a great thing is the after talk. So after all of our sessions, we have the session speaker, and then we have invited an expert. And the expert and the speaker, they had a discussion. We have questions from the audience, and I think that's such a fun, engaging way to, I don't know, keep the dialogue alive, talk about the sessions. I mean, at least me, when I see a session, I get like 1 million different questions, but there's no time to talk about it and discuss it. So this was like a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and also it can be quite exhausting or boring to sit and listen for the same people, same person speaking for 45 minutes, which is our session length during Teamsdagen. So the format that we have now is that we have about 30 minutes of session presenting, and then we have about 15 minutes of this after talk. And we found that a good format, and it was we had good ratings from the audience, from the attendees. So yeah, that was a success from the beginning.
Yeah, and especially since we used Teams live event to broadcast this, we could use the Q&A module, so the expert were able to answer questions from the audience during the session. And I think that was really popular from all the viewers, that they
Yeah.
could ask questions and get real-time answers. But it was very overwhelming with all the questions. So maybe it was hard to answer all the questions. So, but there was a lot of interest from all the viewers.
Yeah, for the coming Teamsdagen after that, we had more people, more experts in the chat, so we could monitor and answering during the session and also afterwards. And we've seen that this has evolved into adding extra value into the session, not just the people answering questions and got the reply, but also other people can see the question and take value out of the answers that are being given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Good move from us.
So that was the first Studio Online, but then we hosted one more Studio Online. That time we gathered in the same studio instead.
yeah.
And, did it so we were able to meet each other and meet all the speakers, and that was fun for us at least. But unfortunately, we couldn't meet the audience.
Yeah, that's true. That also required some recorded sessions because we didn't have 3 similar studios available at the same time for live broadcasting. But that also gave us an advantage of having pre-recorded session. We can have the speakers managing the chat during the session. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that also gives it like another kind of calm. I remember the first Studio Online, we three were doing it live, and it was a hectic, busy day. I mean, it's fun, but I mean, we're not mellow. It's not the Eurovision Song Contest. We're not used to that kind of live things. So being able to record it gave us the advantage of I don't know, just a little less stress and the possibility to, like you said, more than have the speakers during the sessions and answering all these questions from the audience. I like that.
Yeah, and also when it comes to live broadcasting, it's a totally different game managing an in-person conference with people entering the stage, connecting the computer, is this thing on, and things like that, compared to a live broadcast TV studio production where basically every second counts. So yeah, that was a big challenge that we saw, and a very big difference between the in-person conference and the online version. But it has its advantages also, like number of attendees. And we can really, and we felt that, and we also received that from the comments we got afterwards in the evaluation, that people were joining from not just different parts of Sweden, but also in the Nordic region, people that had no possibility or no intention to travel to an in-person conference that we might have been having in Stockholm instead of the virtual digital one.
And that second time we broadcast the Studio Online, we were able to do it more inclusive because the content is, almost all sessions are in Swedish. But that time we were able to use the subtitles and in Swedish, and you could get it in English as well, or Spanish, or whatever you wanted. So we saw on Twitter that we had some viewers from England, English speaking, that didn't understand Swedish, but they were able to follow the conference using the subtitles.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice to be able to use Microsoft Teams with its helpful things, such as like pausing and having the subtitles, as you said, Linus, and just moving back and forth. And the tech helps us with things that aren't possible in the same when we have conference in real life. So that's a really big advantage, even though I miss people and getting cool swag. But I mean, there's pros and cons, really.
Yeah, speaking about inclusion and language, this is an interesting topic. We, on purpose, we did this Teamsdagen in mainly Swedish, because we live in Sweden, and our audience are mainly Swedish speaking. That includes Norwegian and some Finnish and Danish people as well. But we did want to do this as an inclusive conference by using the Swedish language. Because there are a lot of other online conferencing focusing on Teams and other technologies that are in English. So people that doesn't speak Swedish, they have plenty of to choose from in this area. So what we wanted to do is make this in Swedish, so everyone speaking Swedish will feel included in this and be a part of it. And that is one of the key success factors, I would say, for Teamsdagen. That we are not competing with the other international conferences, and also make it more personal by using the Swedish language for the Swedish-speaking people. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree though. And we really saw that second time we broadcasted this, since we had almost 3,000 viewers, unique viewers in the 3 channels. That wouldn't be possible. We had 300 when we were on site, but now online we're able to reach so many people. And it's really unique with a Swedish-speaking conference.
Yeah.
And then we said we had doing this 4 times. So a month ago we broadcasted a Teamsdagen Studio Online, and then we wanted to include more of our audience. So then we had a live segment where we used a word cloud. So we had a question every hour for our audience. What do you think about where do you work from today, or where are you viewing this from? And we had some interaction that way with the audience, and that was really fun to get some feedback directly live from the audience with a simple word cloud.
Yeah. It worked. It really gave value, and it gave that feeling of actually this is happening right now, compared to some other recorded sessions. Yeah, that was interesting and a good move forward.
Yeah.
What we also
found the last.
Yeah, go ahead, Amanda. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that something that we've been talking a lot about, and that it was really visible this last Teamsdays, that we have a few speakers that tend to come back because we really enjoy their content and what they deliver, but we also take a big pride in having new speakers and people that maybe wouldn't speaking at the conference otherwise. So we had like a really great range of people, and I'm really proud of that. Not just having only the famous speakers in the business.
Yeah,
No,
and
that's good.
we spend a lot of time on that, finding those that normally isn't presenting on these type of conferences. So we, I don't know, kind of talent scouts, looking out for social medias and finding potential speakers. But yeah, and we also in this inclusion area, we, as Amanda said, we wanted to have not the typical conference speakers. And yeah, by combining our efforts, I think we managed every time to have a good mix of new people and the well-known people, and have a great mix. And we see that also from the reviews, that people not only appreciate the format and being digital, but also the content, and that is at the same kind of important as the format.
Okay, I think we should share something fun as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most fun part of Teamsdagen is our lunch battle.
Yeah.
And like shortly describe it, we have a few contestants. They share tips on Microsoft Teams things, and the audience votes. And I think this is the most popular, one of the most popular sections of Teamsdagen. And it's really fun, and I always learn something every
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
that's amazing. I also learn new things from that. Teams Epic Tips and Tricks Battle. I think it's the official name for it, or at least something like that. And yeah, we also always kept that session live, and so the audience can vote for the tips they enjoy the most. And it's almost exciting to see who's winning, and it's yeah, it's for real. And I think that's one key thing with that it's genuine and it's real, and it's also something that we have had all Teamsdagen, so people or the audience recognize it, and they also, I think they recognize us for some extent also, and I talk to people and I say they really enjoy the familiar feeling from Teamsdagen, that they recognize us and maybe the chemistry between us. I don't know, but yeah, that's also what we want to achieve: a familiar and friendly conference.
I think we should take the time also and thank Theodora that's organizing this with us.
Yeah.
She's not here today, but we are 4 organizers, so she's also with us. But not now.
Absolutely.
The fourth member of the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we talk about what happened next? We should do this again, right? And in another format, or?
Yeah, we are planning coming Teamsdagen somewhere maybe next year. And one interesting thing that we saw this last Teamsdagen Studio Online was that we didn't have as many attendees as the previous ones. Instead of maybe 2,500, now we have only 2,000 attendees, or actually people viewing this. But what we saw was that the average viewing time has increased a lot for this last time. So the interpretation that we do is that less people are just checking it out to see what it is and then leave, but people are there to actually consume the content and have maybe a good time, but at least learn something about Microsoft Teams. And we should also mention the YouTube aspect of this. If we look back to the original Teamsdagen with the on-prem, the in-person event, we didn't even discuss recording those sessions. I know some people asked, but we were like, no, you don't record a conference. But now with the digital online event, recording comes as a package, and now we see that there are a lot of interest in the recording afterwards. So the session has continuous life on YouTube afterwards. And we have a lot of traction and activities there, which is good. It gives it a different, a second dimension of this.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, like you said, the first Teamsdagen we didn't even consider recording, and now when we're looking at the next Teamsdagen, maybe we will do a hybrid event, maybe it will be virtual. We don't know. The rules for our conferences have definitely changed, so there's a lot of new things to think about and reconsider, and it feels like we will start from zero in nothing zero of us Teamsdagen, but how do we do conference, how do we do hybrid, how is it fun for people at home and on place, will it be in place? There's so many questions and things to think about.
Organizing a hybrid event will be more challenging for us, and we probably need something more challenging now when we're experts in this.
Yeah, but what we promise is to take what's good with the in-person conference and then take what we have learned from the digital area, from the online conference event, and then hopefully we can merge those two worlds together and make a great experience both for people on site and online. That's what we are looking for.
It will be very, very exciting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, we mentioned the fun part with the lunch battle and the familiar feeling around Teamsdagen, and we talked a lot about the inclusion of this. So what about eco-friendly?
What about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we started Teamsdagen, one of the key things for me was that it was a meat-free meet, which means we just served vegetarian food, and we will continue to do that. But also we're not using like one-time use plastic and things like that. But with this digital format, we can see that we don't need to, of course, not fly in participants, but also we don't need to fly in speakers. So we can find speakers basically everywhere.
Yeah.
And that also add to inclusion, but also cuts on travel costs and environment.
The footprint.
Yeah, exactly. And we continue to invest in that area. And let's see what happened with that when we move forward.
Yeah.
Okay, it is time to wrap it up and say Merry Christmas.
Wrap it in or wrap
Yeah.
it up, as in Christmas scene?
Wrap it in and then wrap it up.
Wrap it in and wrap it up. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for listening to us. And
if you're interested in Teamsdagen, you find us on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on teamsdagen.se. And you find us on social media. So.
Yeah. Perfect. And, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. Bye-bye. Ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
Jag vet inte om det liksom stängs av om jag ändrar broadcasts. Så jag gör inte det.
Var det du som hade en massa bakgrundsljud, Amanda? Det låter som en typ tv på i bakgrunden.
Nej, men det är Andreas som låter.
Ja.
Det är bara som är ledset.
Men jag tror att det är rätt okej ändå.
It's my child. Jag får lyssna. Får jag göra. Jag kan lyssna igenom bara. Och, men jag tror att han grät när jag och Carolina spelade in också. Och hon sa att det inte hörde så mycket. Så att jag kan bara dubbellyssna så att det inte är övertagande.
Nej, men det var vid något tillfälle lätt, men det var inte direkt så att man tänkte på det. Eller vi tänkte väl på det, men...
Jag lyssnar och är det jättehemskt, så jag kan väl dela med er. Jag har verkligen ingen aning om hur. Jag måste ändå testa. Om allt stängs ner, då får vi då går vi tillbaka till Teamsmötet kortis. Vänta, ska jag